Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Samuel Okashisi. This is the Spirit of Freedom Ministry, and today I shall be speaking on a particular topic, something I've noticed and I've been inspired by God to bring light upon it, to illuminate it, to shed light upon it. It is one of these tactics of the enemy which causes division between the church and even in organizations, in family, and wherever. Anywhere there is unity and God is planning to move through love and unity, this is what the enemy uses. This is one of his tactics that he uses to cause division among them so that the will of God will not be fulfilled. So I am inspired here to shed light upon it. I hope you are doing well wherever you are. My goal is to make the video short and probably teach on this in 3 parts. So there will be part 1, part 2, part 3. Today's goal is to highlight unhealthy competition. Unhealthy what? Competition. On this pursuit to freedom that we are aiming at, one of the things we need to learn, one of the skills we need to learn, is the skill to avoid the trap of unhealthy competition. It might even be one of the things God wants to deliver us from. Our goal is to live in freedom. And this freedom, to achieve it, some of the things that will trip us, or some of the skills that we need to learn, is what? Is identifying unhealthy, or the trap of unhealthy competition, and we don't fall into it. You understand what I'm saying? So now let's move. The author of this unhealthy competition is Satan himself. Of course, we have the flesh, which gives Satan license to use us, to oppress us, and to deceive us. But the author itself, it's Satan himself. If you look at Isaiah 14:12-6, it says, "How you are fallen from heaven, O shining star, son of the morning, you have been thrown down to the earth, you who destroyed the nations of the world." 13, "For you said to yourself, I will ascend to heaven and set my throne above God's stars. I will preside on the mountain of the gods, far away in the north." 14, "I will climb to the highest heavens and be like the Most High." 15, "Instead, you will be brought down to the place of the dead, down to its lowest depth." 16, "Everyone there will stare at you and ask, can this be the one who shook the earth and made the kingdoms of the world tremble?" So on and so forth. It's an illustration of how devil spoke to himself, thought in himself that I am this God, the Most High. I can even be better than the Most High. I can raise my throne higher than the Most High. Literally, in his mind, he was competing with the Most High. He didn't stay where the Lord put him. He didn't want to stay under authority, but rather he suggested and thought in himself, okay, I can even be better than the leader or the one that is above me, which was God. He let the spirit of unhealthy competition take over him, which was as a result of the pride in his heart. The pride he had in his heart influenced him to think like that. So Satan is the author. He has done it before. So anywhere you see confusion or division among loved ones in the church of God, in the nation, in the politics, in wherever, love and unity is expected so that good things can happen or the work of God can be achieved, and you see division, this is one of the tactics the devil uses. One of the strategies of war is to cause division among your opponents, among your enemies. In the camp of the enemy, whenever there is division, it makes your job easier as the rival. You understand what I'm saying? So devil instigates this kind of division. By what? By causing one of those there to develop the spirit of unhealthy competition. It is very, very important. Instead of collaborating, working together, then they begin to what? Compete against each other. Before you know it, things will begin to happen. Let's look at two examples. One is one that failed the tests when this temptation came. the temptation of unhealthy competition. One failed the test. The other passed the test. So after citing these two, I will stop here as part one. Then in part two, I will talk about the 5 signs of unhealthy competition. And part 3, I will talk about the solutions to unhealthy competitions. Okay, so the first example we know is Cain. That is Cain and Abel. So if you look at Genesis 4:3 to 18, you can start from 1, but I will just start from 3 to make it shorter. When it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of his crops as a gift to the Lord. 4. Abel also brought a gift, the best portion of the firstborn lambs from his flock. The Lord accepted Abel and his gift. 5. But he did not accept Cain and his gift. This made Cain very angry and he looked dejected. I'm using the NLT version here. Verse 6. Why are you so angry? The Lord asked Cain. Why do you look so dejected? 7. You will be accepted if you do what is right. But if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you. But you must subdue it and be its master. So the thought will come, the thought of competition, to compete unhealthily against the people you call rival, instead of you collaborating or learning from them. You will start thinking and competing. And then, well, God was telling Cain here, watch out. But you must what? Subdue it. God knows that Cain has the ability to subdue that thought whenever it comes. And you have to master it. So God was even giving Cain the what to do. That having that thought doesn't necessarily mean that you have done evil, but your responsibility is now to subdue that thought. You bring it captive to the obedience of Christ and you become its master. You don't let the thoughts control you, you control it. Once you do that, you have not fallen into sin. But when you let that thought control you and you begin to do all of that, then you are getting into sin. Verse 8. One day Cain suggested to his brother, let's go out into the fields. And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. 9. The Lord saw it. Afterward, the Lord asked Cain, where is your brother? Where is Abel? I don't know. Cain responded, am I my brother's guardian? You can read all along. But eventually, he listened to that thought. He allowed that thought, that unhealthy competition spirit, to control him, and he killed his brother. He failed the test. Let's look at another person that had the opportunity to do the same thing as Cain did, but had a different perspective. That is John the Baptist. If you look at John 3:22 to 29, John 3:22 to 29. Then Jesus and his disciples left Jerusalem and they went into the Judean countryside. Jesus spent some time with them there, baptizing people. 23. At this time, John the Baptist was baptizing at Enon, near Salem, because there was plenty of water there, and people kept coming to him for baptism. 24. This was before John was thrown into prison. 25. A debate broke out between John's disciples and a certain Jew over ceremonial cleansing. 26. So John's disciples came to him and said, Rabbi, the man you met on the other side of the Jordan River, the one you identified as the Messiah, is also baptizing people. And everybody is going to him instead of coming to us. This is John's disciples. John the Baptist's disciples saying this to John the Baptist. 27. John replied, no one can receive anything unless God gives it from heaven. 28. You yourselves know how plainly I told you, I am not the Messiah. I am only here to prepare the way for him. 29. It is the bridegroom who marries the bride, and the bridegroom's friend is simply glad to stand with him and hear his vows. Therefore, I am filled with joy at his success. There was an opportunity for John the Baptist to develop a spirit of unhealthy competition here against Jesus Christ. But what did he do? He realized his position. He stood in his position. He did not allow that thought to take over him. And he said, no one can have anything except God gives him from above. So he acknowledged that it is God that blesses. So if you have anybody who you see as a competitor succeeding, probably more than you, know that that cannot happen without God being behind it. So you accept it, and when your time is right, the Lord will make it perfect for you as well. Look at the last statement John said, therefore I am filled with joy at his success. I am filled with joy at his success. Can you see how John took it? Cain allowed that thought to control him. He didn't subdue it. He didn't master it. And he committed sin by killing his brother. John the Baptist, having the same opportunity, the disciples were saying that, if you look at verse 26 again, they said, everybody is going to Jesus, him, instead of coming to us for baptism. Can you see? It became an idea of competition between John the Baptist and Jesus Christ. Though people are coming to Jesus for baptism, they weren't coming to John the Baptist. That was the mentality of the disciples of John the Baptist. But according to one filled with love and the Spirit of God, he did not allow that thought to take over. I will stop here in this part 1. I've laid the foundation that the devil, Satan, is the author of unhealthy competition. He has done it with God when he was in heaven, and he was cast down from heaven to earth because he wanted to take his throne even above God. He was competing with God. He didn't stay in his place. He didn't stay in his place. Then we looked at the person that failed the test, Cain, who was tempted and was overwhelmed by the spirit of what? Unhealthy competition. And then we looked at John the Baptist, who passed the test. Which side will you be on? Will you be in the side of the one that allowed the spirit of unhealthy competition to take over, and you commit sin and evil before the eyes of God? Or you will be at the right side that accept that no one has any success except it is given from above, and you will be filled with joy at the rivals or other person's success. The choice is yours. There is placed before you life and death. Choose life that you may live. Thank you. And the next video, it will be on 5 signs of unhealthy competition. Bye for now.